On April 15, 1947, 7 years before the end of segregation with the ruling of Brown v. Board of Education, and 17 years before the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Jackie Robinson broke baseball's color barrier. However, at the time, it was not covered by the mainstream media as the historic landmark that it is remembered by today. In the modern era, the baseball world celebrates the remembrance of Jackie Robinson with his very own holiday and the distinguished honor of retiring his number throughout the league. Yet at the time of his debut, Robinson was met with backlash from his opponents and the media. Arguably the most famous encounter was Phillies manager Ben Chapman, who shouted racial slurs at Robinson during his at-bats. Despite this, the two posed for a now famous photo just days after the encounter. Although everyone knew about the challenges Robinson faced, whether it be denied entry into a team's hotel, death threats, or even racial slurs from his peers, the media did not do much to help. In fact, Robinson was even left out of multiple game stories during his debut, and several Southern newspapers even censored their sports coverage on opening day, deleting all reference to the integration of Major League Baseball. One of the most insulting stories was Arthur Daly's recap of Robinson's debut in the New York Times. Not only did he mention it was uneventful and that he hit into a double play, but Daly called Robinson a muscular Negro who minds his own business and shrewdly makes no effort to push himself. This was echoed by his peer Bob Cook from the New York Herald Tribune, who only finally mentioned Robinson in the 10th paragraph to say that he hit into a double play with runners on the corners. Both stories show the narrow-mindedness of the reporters and the general public attitude towards people of color at the time. They were not able to grasp the importance and significance of the situation. Not only that, but there is even proof of editors discouraging their writers to write about the dissolving color barrier. Roger Kahn, a reporter covering the Brooklyn Dodgers for the New York Herald Tribune, received a wire from his editor that said, "Write baseball, not race relations." A study done by Pat Washburn in 1981 clarified how much this attitude ran true in New York newspapers. For the percentage of stories that mentioned racial harassment towards Jackie Robinson by opposing players, the New York Daily News was the highest at 5%. The New York Times followed with a meager 2%, and the New York Herald Tribune, the same with the discouraging editors, with an unbelievable 0%. The black press, however, did not miss the chance to go big with Robinson's debut. The Baltimore Afro-American covered Robinson's debut with 7 stories and photographs. It led off with an editorial with the first sentence that read, "It marks the beginning of a new era. Were it not for the color of his skin, there is no question he would have been signed by Brooklyn long ago." Respect for Robinson gained traction throughout the upcoming months as he took home Rookie of the Year in 1947 while batting .297 with 12 homers and 48 RBIs. On the day of his debut, he said, "I'm not concerned with your liking or disliking me. All I ask is that you respect me as a human being." In his biography that came out in 1972, the same year he died, he made a statement that resonates with many modern-day social movements. One of his last quotes was, "As I write these words now, I cannot stand and sing the national anthem. I have learned that I remain a black in a white world."